Every couple has them. Those topics you tiptoe around like landmines. Money, in-laws, parenting, even how often you check your phone. You feel the tension before you even open your mouth. One wrong phrase and suddenly you're not talking anymore, you're sparring. The question isn't, do sensitive topics exist? Of course they do. The real question is, how do you talk about them without turning every conversation into a fight? Because what if the biggest threat to your relationship isn't the argument itself, but how you argue? Let's talk about it. I'm Sam, this is The Connection Room. You ever notice how fast you can go from 0 to 100 even with someone you love? 1 second you're calm and the next you're defending your entire character. The psychologist Daniel Kahneman would say it's the clash between two modes of thought, what he calls System 1 and System 2. System 1 is your fast brain, emotional, instinctive, and built to react. System 2 is your slow brain, rational, reflective, and built to weigh things out. The problem? System 1 always speaks first. System 1 reacts to survive. System 2 responds to connect. And even though the internet loves to claim men are more logical, this happens to everyone.
Sorry.
Picture this. Your partner says, "Why didn't you pay the bill on time?" Now, logically, that's a simple question. Maybe they're just worried about late fees. But your brain doesn't want to wait for logic. System 1 hears you're irresponsible and you don't pull your weight.
Now, I'm really mad.
And before System 2 can plug the speaker, your mouth has already fired back. "Why are you always nagging me?" You've gone from paying bills to paying for dinner alone in about 3 seconds flat.
Women.
That's the clash. The skill isn't about never reacting. It's about noticing when your fast brain has hijacked the mic and giving your slow brain a chance to catch up. Sometimes that looks like taking a breath before answering. That tiny pause, that's where the whole conversation can shift from two people defending themselves against imaginary attacks to two people actually trying to understand each other better. Because emotion isn't the enemy, disconnection is. A lot of fights aren't really about the thing you're arguing about. You'll spend an hour going back and forth about who left the sink full or who bought something they didn't need to. The psychologist Marshall Rosenberg, who created nonviolent communication, said that arguments are rarely about the topic themselves. They're about the need underneath. A fight about money isn't about numbers. It's about safety. And a fight about dishes isn't about chores. It's about fairness. Anger is often the bodyguard of fear. When we stay at the surface, we're fighting about tasks. When looking underneath, we're fighting about connection. Rosenberg said that the argument changes the second you name the real need. Saying, "I'm feeling overwhelmed and I need to know we're in this together," lands very differently from "you never help." So ask yourself, what's the real need hiding under your next argument? Because couples are not fighting over dishes or bills or texts. They're fighting to feel safe, respected, and seen. And when you can name the need instead of attacking the symptom, you stop being opponents and start being partners, navigating something that is very human. That's how you separate the need from the noise. Now let's talk about something that most people never realize they're doing in an argument. Fix your face. When I say face, I mean the version of ourselves that we want to accept. The self-image that we protect. Competent, trustworthy, dependable. Every time we talk, we do face work. Those little efforts to protect that image, both for ourselves and for our partner. But here's the thing. The people closest to us know exactly where our face is fragile. And when conflict heats up, we stop protecting each other's dignity and start tearing it down. "You're just like your dad. You never finish anything. You run away from your problems just like your mum." We've all said something we wish we could take back, right? Because those aren't just complaints. They're flaming daggers aimed at the identity. Once that happens, the argument stops being about solving the issue and it becomes a war to defend your face. You don't have to avoid hard truths. If your partner really struggles to finish what they start, you can say that. But you don't need to strip their dignity to get your point across. We're all humans and we all fall short of grace sometimes. But when system 2 finally kicks in, when you finally get that clarity, you can repair. System 2 will help you say things like, I know things got heated, but you matter more to me than point scoring. That sentence can bring a conversation back to center, because fighting fair isn't just about technique. It's about protecting your humanity in the middle of a conflict. It's a decision that says, even when I'm angry, I won't weaponize your vulnerability. Even when I'm feeling unseen, I'll resist the urge to dehumanize you. See, relationships aren't built on constant harmony. They're built on how we handle moments where harmony cracks, protecting each other's dignity when things get dark. That's what lets love survive in the friction of real life. So how do you talk about sensitive topics without fighting? Well, pause long enough to let your slow brain speak. Look beneath the noise to find the real need. Fix your face and protect each other's dignity. You remember that the goal isn't to win the argument, it's to stay connected while you work through it. Because the point isn't to avoid hard conversation, it's to fight the problem and not each other. You don't win an argument by defeating your partner. You win by understanding them. And when you can do that, sensitive topics stop being landmines. They become doorways into deeper trust and deeper honesty. So what's one sensitive topic that's hardest for you to talk about? And how do you usually handle it? Drop that in the comments. Your story might be helpful for someone else looking on. And if this gave you something to think about, hit the like and the subscribe button and share it with somebody who might need the reminder. It's free and it means you might see a whole lot more of me. I'm Sam, and until the next time, make some room.